Hey guys, it's Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. Well, this week, unfortunately, we lost Lemmy of Motorhead. So I've been getting a lot of requests to do Ace of Spades. I've never done any Motorhead. I didn't even know that. I completely I couldn't believe it. I was like, we've never done any Motorhead. So we're going to end that today, and we're going to do Ace of Spades. We're going to do the full song here. So we've got some really cool riffs. It's a really fun song to play. Make sure you got your guitar tuned down a half step. So you can follow along with this lesson. The original recording is in that tuning. And we got that main riff that I just played for you, and the chorus there, which is the chorus, and then the verse, which is really fun to play. It's got those fills in it. And we're also going to take a look at the solo. All right, so let's start with that main riff here. All right, so we're going to start with the low E open over to the 7th fret on the A. Then you're going to do 16th notes on that 7th fret there on the A. Just a quick down, up, with just a little bit of slight muting on the string. So just slightly palm mute that. So down, 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 up, down, up. And then when I come up here, I'm going to grab the 9th fret on the D, and you're going to play that along with the 7th. And then 8 on the D, and then 7 on the D. So you see those? So the 7th fret on the A string is in all those. All right, so that's all there is to that main riff. From there, it goes into the verse. And then back into the chorus. All right, so what's going on in that verse there? So coming out of that main riff, now it's a G power chord, but he adds some more notes to it than the average G power chord. So it's not played like this. If you listen to the recording, it's really kind of muted sounding. Now, if you watch him do it live, what he does to get some more notes in there is he brings his thumb over here and plays the bottom 3rd fret with that. Then he plays these two notes with the same fingers here. Then he has the open G string, and he's got the 1st and 2nd string barred at the 3rd fret. So you can just do that. It's got a lot bigger sound to it. You might want to hit that a couple times to keep it ringing out. And then we have the fills. Now what's going on here, you're going to go up to the 14th fret on the B and the G string, hold that, and pull it towards the floor. Now you can use 2 fingers if you want, if you really want the notes to be exact, but most people would use their 3rd finger. Pull it down to the floor, then 12 on the G and the B, then back to those 2 14s, and then back to the 12s. So like this. So the first notes were bent and released, and the other ones are just played normal. And then you do it again. But this time, you do the bend and release, then down to 12, over to 14 on the D. So like this. Now under that, there's an actual, the main guitar riff is going on underneath that. So like this. All right, so now when you're doing this, you're starting with this chord, then you go into this fill twice. So it's the same thing repeated twice, and then the power chord of the 5th fret on the A string, you play it like that if you want, then the 3rd, and then back to that fill again just once this time. And then back to those 2 power chords, and that takes you to the chorus. All right, so those 2 main riffs go through again. Now, the only time rotating between those 2 parts, we have the kind of muted part that happens before the guitar solo. And it sounds like this a little bit. So that's really the bridge section. So we're doing pretty much the same main riff to start that section, just very muted. It's really heavily polymuted. Then we have some stop chords, which is just 5, the power chord of the 5th fret on the A up to the 7th. So real quick, then kill it, then do that again. And there's some vocals going on here, and then we come back in on that chord we just ended on, build back down to the 5th fret, let that ring, and then we have a little bit of progression to end the bridge, which is 7, 5, 3, 2. So from those stop chords, we have this. All right, from there we have the solo. So let me play the guitar solo for you real quick, and then we'll go through it, phrase by phrase. Here we go. We're back to that main riff right out of that solo. So the first phrase of that solo is this. All right, so you're gonna slide into the 5th fret on the low E, then come over to the 5th fret on the A string and do a bend, then bring it back down and pick it again with some vibrato. Then pull off 5 to 3, over to 5 on the low E, back to 3 on the 5. So this. Then slide 5 to 7 on the A string, roll over to the D on the 7th fret, pick that a couple times. Then you're going to pull off 7, 5, over to 7 on the A, then hammer back 5, 7 on the D. All together. All right, next phrase. All right, so that's a series, kind of a repeated lick. We're gonna pull off 7 to 5 on the D, over to 7 on the A. So you're gonna do that 4 times. Then go back to the 7 on the D string, do a bend, and then pick the note again. Just regular, with some vibrato on it. Then make your way down the scale, 5, then 7 on the A string, and then a 5 on the A. So we have this. And then we have this next phrase. All right, so we're kind of doing a lot of the same lick here. We're going to slide from 7 to 9 on the A, then roll over to the 9 on the D. So you pick that again twice, pull off the 7 to 9 on the A, And then you're gonna do a hammer 7 to 9 on the D and 7 to 9 on the G. So you're gonna take this up a little bit higher. So it is. Now when you get to that 9th fret on the G, you're gonna bend it up and then grab the 10th fret on the B. Then you pick 9 again, then a quick little hammer pull from doing 7, 9, back to 7 on the G. Over to 9 on the D, and back to that 7 on the G. So it is. Alright, next phrase. Alright, really kind of a chaotic part here. We're going to basically have this one little dyad we're playing. 10th fret on the B and 11th fret on the G. So just kind of tremolo pick across those two strings, sliding into that 3 times. And then the 3rd time, you start just letting it go up fret by fret all the way till your first finger gets to the 15th fret. All right, and then we had this next little phrase. All right, so that's a 15th fret bend on the B string. Then pick it normal. And then we have 13, hammer to 15, pull back off to 13. Over to 14 on the G, back to that 13 on the B. Then we're gonna use the same notes again, but that's just 14 on the G, 13 on the B. That bend again to 15, release, pull back to 13 to 14 on the G. All right, and the end of the solo is this. All right, so we're gonna have a quick little hammer from 13 to 15 on the B, pull back off to 13, over to 14 on the G. Then we're gonna pretty much do that same lick. Again, 12 to 14, back to 12 on the G, to 14 on the D, back to that 12, and do a bend at the 14th fret on the G. Release, pull off the 12, over to 14 on the D, back to the 12th fret on the G, a little bit of vibrato, so it is. All right, and now we just have a slow little, that's just 14, 12 on the D, 14, 12 on the A, down to 10. Now when you get to the 10th fret, you're gonna quickly hammer onto the 12th and grab that 10th fret really quick on the D. So we have this. One more time. And then you're just back to that main riff. Back to the into the verse section. All right, so now we have an outro section when the vocals just kind of go out at the very end. It's kind of similar. It's just not really as active, and there's a little bit of a solo in there too. Let me play it real quick. All right, so we're basically doing that same rhythm that we did during the chorus. We're just kind of hanging out. We're hitting the low E and then hanging out on that 7th fret on the A string, just kind of muting it, keep it in that same rhythm. Now that's the first time through. The second time through, he goes over and quickly grabs that 7th fret on the D string. It's really quick, it's really muted too, so it's kind of hard to hear in the recording. And then the third time through, he does the same thing, but this time he hits the 5th fret on the D. And then the 4th time through, he just continues just hanging out on that 7 the whole time. So let me just play through that. Alright, now we get to the unison bends. 12th fret on the high E, then 15 on the B. Now you're going to pick those two notes and bend that 15th on the B string until it matches the 12th fret on the high E. So you do it twice and let it ring. And then you just repeat. So after 4 times of doing that, we do this, which ends the song. So that's just the power chord, 7th fret on the A, the 5, back to 7. Repeat. And they kind of slide off that 7. Alright, so it's a great song. It's really fun to play as soon as you get it in your fingers, and nothing is really too difficult either. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.